Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome to WreckTalk. And, Tech is getting ready to play Clemson, but today we got to talk about this Lane Kiffin leaked audio situation, which honestly to me is just kind of bizarre. Basically, there's a kid, he was a 3-star recruit for them, played defensive line. Kind of wasn't working out. He was then told to move to scout team, move to the offensive side of the ball on scout team. I will read some from the article. He then asked, was that a request or a demand or something? And he was told, well, if you don't like it, you can transfer. Just in case anyone needed to hear this, when your boss, which is what a head coach is for these kids are getting paid. NIL is a thing. When your boss or head coach tells you to do something, it's not a request. It's not a democracy. You do what you're told, right? Their job is to make decisions. Your job is to do the best you can with what decisions are made, make plays. Let me switch screens here. That's not what I want. It says in the original lawsuit filed on September 14th, Rollins, that's the kid that's accusing Lane of these things, alleged that Kiffin took unfavorable action against him, quote, on account of race for requesting and taking a mental health break, unquote. When Kiffin did not take, quote, adverse action against white student athletes, unquote, for the same request. Yes, so what's his name? Rollins, he had his mother, and this lined right up when he was told to do things he didn't want to do for the team. His mother called the trainer and said, hey, he's having now a mental health crisis. He did not show up for 2 weeks after that. I think the article even says that she said he needs to have like a counselor come see him, something to this effect. And he was basically told, well, you need to meet with the head coach. And he showed up 2 weeks later. That's what the leaked audio is. We'll listen to a clip of it. The article also says Rollins' lawsuit also alleges sexual discrimination against the university on the basis it has not taken, quote, adverse action against female student athletes for requesting and taking a mental health break, unquote. This is from Bleacher Report, by the way. So he recorded this audio. So 2 weeks later, he goes and meets with Lane Kiffin. He's recording Lane without his consent. Legally, there's nothing wrong with this. Mississippi is a one-party consent state. After not showing up for 2 weeks, that's what the leaked audio is. So now he's really trying to cover all his bases. Mental health, depression, racism, and sexism. Like the whole full house of, I guess, social ails and things like that. Things that, are very sensitive subjects. In the lawsuit, Rollins said he suffered multiple injuries during his career, claimed severe depression, anxiety, frustration. I didn't know frustration was a mental illness. I guess it is. I guess we're all mentally ill. Embarrassment, humiliation, a loss of sleep, and a loss of appetite stemming from an Achilles injury that occurred July 2022. Rollins also stated that nobody with the Ole Miss athletic department or football staff provided him with any materials about mental health, nor did he receive a mental health referral while recovering from his injuries. And, I really shy away from going down political rabbit holes like this. But it does seem like we're, as a society in general, moving toward this. I don't have any accountability for anything. It's not my responsibility to take care of myself. Like, it's not your fault if you have mental health issues. It is your fault if you don't do anything about it, though. And somehow that's become controversial. It's not up to the rest of the world to provide me with what I need to solve my problems. I need to take ownership of my situation. Okay, I'm having mental health issues. Let me go find help, find resources, yada, yada, yada. Let's listen to the audio, by the way. This is the audio of that meeting, March 7th. When he comes back in, he's recording Lane. Lane is not aware of it.
If you would have come here when you kept getting messages, the head coach wants to talk to you, and you saying, I'm not ready to talk to him.
I wasn't.
What world do you live in?
I don't see why you gotta be disrespectful, honestly.
Get out of here. Go, you're off the team. You're done. See ya.
Because
See ya. Go. And guess what? We can kick you off the team. So go read your rights about mental health. We can kick you off the team for not showing up. When the head coach has to meet with you and you don't show up for weeks, okay, we can remove you from the team. It's called being the It's called hiding behind and not showing up to work.
So, I'll be honest. Knowing what I know about Lane Kiffin and the fact that he didn't know he was being recorded, I think that's pretty tame. I guess he called him the P word. And basically, look, he said, you're kind of hiding behind this. I tend to agree. I don't think this is a huge deal. By the way, as we've read, that he's filed a lawsuit. It's like a $50 million lawsuit. So he came into this meeting, and I don't think he even really responded to a request to meet. He just kind of showed up when he felt like showing up. And I agree with Lane. Like, what world do you live in, dude? Like, this would be totally different if he would have responded and said, and just met with him and said, look, here's what I'm going through. Like, I'm really struggling. I need to take time off. Can you point me in the direction of where I can find resources for this? Do we have any resources? Of course they do, right? Then this is a non-issue. But he was looking to file a lawsuit. I think he didn't like how he was being treated. He didn't want to transfer. And he kind of set the deck here to where he was going to get ready to file this lawsuit. Now, a few things with this. Right, wrong, or indifferent, and this is kind of a whistleblow situation, right? Just generally in career world at your job, if you're going to do something like this, record, leak audio, you better be getting enough money from that to set you up for the rest of your life, because you'll never work in that industry again. This kid will never play football anywhere again, in any kind of competitive sense, because it's a massive liability. I mean, anxiety, frustration, embarrassment. I mean, because you can't trust that he wouldn't do this to you, right? And look, I'm not insensitive to mental health issues. I myself, and I've never really talked about this, I've struggled mightily with depression. And what I had to do, because it's easy to just let that defeat you and say, well, this is just who I am. I'm just going to be depressed and really inherit this the world is against me mentality. The thing with that kind of mentality is it's easy because it doesn't require anything of me. It doesn't require anything of me to just throw my hands up and just say, yep, I'm a flawed, messed up human being. That's the easy route. What isn't so easy is to really put in the work and say, I'm going to do whatever I need to become well. It is my responsibility, no matter what issues I have, to get well by any means available to me. And here's the thing, I know every college football program has resources to address this very thing. So a lot of people have talked about it's interesting this is coming up in right before the biggest game of their career. The thing is, this audio has been out for months now. I don't know why people are acting like this is something new. This lawsuit was filed September 14th. I remember reading and listening to this audio before Georgia Tech played them in the second game of the season. Might have been the third game. I think it was the third game of the season. I guess it's gaining traction now because Ole Miss has filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Be interesting to see if it does get dismissed. I don't really know what this guy thought was going to happen. I mean, it does appear like he's just looking for a payday, and this does seem like a smear campaign. Like, okay, not only are you being insensitive to my mental health issues, but you're being racist and sexist. I'm surprised he didn't throw ageist in there too. Because I'm a young person, you don't respect me the way you should, or something. I mean, honestly, man, give me a break. Article says Rollins said that he was going to take a quote-unquote mental break, and his mother, Connie Hollins, said she called Ole Miss athletic trainer Pat Jernigan to say her son was quote-unquote suffering a mental health crisis and requested a counselor to speak with and monitor Collins. Be interesting to see if that actually happened. In a motion filed on Wednesday obtained by Perez, attorneys for Kiffin and the university argued to dismiss the lawsuit because Rollins has not alleged Kiffin treated him differently than other similarly situated individuals, much less that he did so with discriminatory intent because of plaintiff's race or sex. According to Perez, court filing stated Ole Miss assistant AD for sports psychology, Josie Nicholson, told Rollins to meet with Kiffin on March 7th. The meeting would take place on March 21st, which was transcribed as part of the lawsuit. So I guess they did have someone reach out to him. They said, hey, you need to meet with Lane. And he just ignored it for 2 weeks. There's not a job that you can have where this is going to be acceptable. And look, these mental health things, and it'll be interesting. I don't know how it relates to college athletics because they're technically not looked at as employees, but they really are employees now with the advent of NIL and a lot of things. But mental health things like this are federally protected. If you go to your boss and you say, hey, I'm having, severe mental health issues or mental health issues, I need to take time off, they have to allow you to do that, and they cannot fire you for the time that you're taking off. It's the FMLA. That applies to addiction issues as well. If you go to them, say, hey, I need to go address these addiction issues, rehab or whatever, they can't fire you for doing that. However, if you just don't show up to work, it doesn't matter the reason, they can fire you. So, again, if he just would have headed this off, if he just would have met with them, I think they would have worked with him. I don't think that was his intent from the beginning, though. I think he wanted to get kicked off the team to then, in response, file a lawsuit. Here's the thing, though. I don't know who's going to represent him. Ole Miss probably has a lot of money. You're going to be going up against the best lawyers money can buy, so you better have a pretty strong case. I'm not a lawyer. Doesn't seem like a strong case. Now, this is in the early stages. They're just, deciding whether there's enough evidence to even go to a trial, which, by the way, this is a civil lawsuit. So if it did go to trial, civil lawsuits are to the preponderance of the evidence, which means you just have to be 51% sure. Criminal cases, there's a far larger burden of proof, right? It's, without a reasonable doubt, which is 99% sure. He's going to have to demonstrate that they discriminated against him, and him just not responding for 2 weeks, I think, is the death nail in that. I mean, they would have to show that other athletes just didn't show up for 2 weeks, didn't respond to anything when they were told to meet with their coach or whatever, and they were allowed to be on the team without consequence. So let me know what you guys think. I don't think this is going anywhere. I don't really understand why it's picked up such steam before their game against UGA. This has been out for months, for months. So give me your opinion in the comments. Talk to you guys later.